Come one, come all. Nakumaisha watu waroho. It's your brother from another motherland, Mr. Mikel, the world changer here, family. Here for another conversation on our favorite topic in 2020. You heard it right here first, folks. Our favorite topic. You know you want to hear about it. You got to talk about it. No matter who you are, it's time to go inward. We are talking about spiritual health, family. Broadcasting to you live from London right now. To those in the comments asking, broadcasting live from London. We are here talking about spiritual health, family. This is Too Hard to Go Hell, Spiritual Health with Mikel. A spiritual health conversation for the millennial generation, family. We are here to ask the question every day, and not ask the question but answer the question: what is spiritual health, and how can we live a life that is spiritually healthy? Also, why should spiritual health be at the most paramount place of importance for all people right now? This is a question that I seek to answer and deal with in this live podcast. You can listen back to this podcast via Spotify, Anchor, SoundCloud. It's so funny, I say this stuff every day and I'm always stuttering. Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor, Overcast, any place you can find podcasts. You can also get this podcast as well. This is Spiritual Health with Mikel. You can search. You may see an image that looks like this. This is what our front cover image of our podcast looks like. I'm showing it on the live right now for those listening in. Yes, Spiritual Health with Mikel. Oops. So, yes, fam. So, we are asking the question today and always: how can we become more spiritually healthy in this time? This live is led by the World Changer Oath. This is our oath as World Changer Life. I'm going to explain to you what that is in a minute. As World Changer Life, this is our oath. Hand on the heart, heaven is my right and heaven is my responsibility. One more time. Heaven is my right and heaven is my responsibility. This is the oath that we take as people, a part of the World Changer Life community, meaning people who seek to develop themselves, educate themselves so that they can create and develop a world that is reflection of their utmost, highest spiritual intentions. Okay? You gotta understand that if there's 7.5 billion people in the world, that's a lot of human beings, right? With so much human beings in the world, who is more important than the other? Who is more valuable than the other? How do we determine value when there's so much human beings in the world? Well, the truth is, we are just as important and not important as each other. Okay? We are both the most powerful of all and both the most minuscule of all. It just depends which way you want to look at it. But the idea is, family, that because we are one of 7.5 billion, it means that we make up a cell in the body. Yes? We make up a cell in the body. Now, whilst you think one cell of 7.5 billion doesn't have any power over the entire body, you can just go look at diseases, viruses, yeah, and see that when something is contained in one cell, it eventually has an effect on all the cells around it, and it begins to multiply itself in respective to its own characteristics. And I'm saying, as you are a cell in the body of the highest spiritual order we call God, you have a responsibility to make sure that that body is healthy. You have a responsibility to make sure that body is healthy by constantly honing in and taking responsibility for your entire energetic operations, right? Now, if heaven is your right and heaven is your experience, your vehicle that you experience this world in, if that is your right to be in a place of constant peace, happiness, health, wealth, love, freedom, truth, abundance, right? If that is your right, then it is your entire responsibility to make sure that your life is one vehicle of heaven, family. And that's what that oath is, a constant mantra, an affirmation for, and a reminder of why we do this live, why we wake up, what we must use our creative prowess for. Yes, this is what the World Changer Life community is all about. This is what we are working to do. Yes, create solutions for spiritual health in the world. That is my role here. If anyone asks you what is Mikel about, you tell them that. Mikel is a creator of solutions for spiritual health, a world changer. Yes? So, that is our oath, man, and we're here today, guys. I really want to answer questions today. I didn't get to answer you guys' a lot of your questions yesterday. I really want to be able to answer any questions you have. So, I really want to use the time to answer questions any of you lot may have during this time. If you want to get my perspective on something, if you want to understand more of the, I don't know, man, whatever. If you want to dive into spiritual health, I'm really, really down and up for it. Okay? So, I'm really open. Let me know. Also, if you want to go live with me, that's something I'm also open to. Yeah? So put your questions in the question box. I think we got a question right about now. The funk soul, brother. What do I think of feminism? Let's look up the definition of what feminism is. Yeah? Because what you got to understand is, that's a dope question. I love that question. Yes, I want more questions like that. I like questions like that. Because when you ask a question that's based on a definition of something, you have to first ascertain what that person's understanding of what it is they're saying. Does that make sense? So we could say feminism, right? And if I ask maybe a white woman what feminism is, she gonna tell me this. If I ask a black woman what feminism is, she gonna tell me that. If I ask a black man what feminism, he gonna tell me that. You know, we all got our own personal feelings towards it. So I like to answer questions not based on my own personal feelings, but based on, objective truth. So what I want to do, let's get up this word. I like this. Feminism. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, but I like to use this opportunity to gain definitions as well. So, feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of the equality of sexes. Okay? So that's the definition. Okay? It's about the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of the equality of the sexes. By definition, I am all for feminism because I believe that this world has no clue about the feminine, which is why we abuse women, which why even today it's taken centuries for this world to include women in any way that is effective to the wider society's progress, right? It's taken so long for women to have any form of rank. I feel like it was just in the recent maybe 5, not even 10 years before any woman reached the rank of the Church of England, okay? So I'm an absolute advocate for women's rights and women's rightful place in the equilibrium of a fully functioning society, okay? Now, I will say, I preface that to say this, is that what I am for is people understanding that this system we live in is not based on human nature. That's why we all have problems and difficulty in it. Yes? And often what nature calls us to do, yes, because we are so out of our nature, but we cannot run from our nature. Nature calls us to do things, but our consciousness, because our consciousness is often perverted, our consciousness does things that our nature is calling us to do, but our consciousness has no way of doing it in an effective way. I say that to say this. I don't believe in anything that this system presents to me as a solution. Okay? So, for example, the framework of feminism that this world has produced for my community is not effective. However, I believe unanimously nature is calling the entire world back to femininity. Yes? Some of you lot think femininity is this. That's what you lot think femininity is. That's an ignorant understanding of what femininity is. You understand? Nature is calling us back to feminine understanding, to honoring feminine practice. Yes? And all feminine is literally, we're talking about dualities here. I think Blooming Grace mentioned it earlier. Yes? All it is dualities. And currently the system of white supremacy, which has been the system you and I, yes, even though you've been in Africa, you and I have been reared in, yes, for the last century at least, or more centuries. The system of white supremacy deals with an over masculinization of life and nation building, right? And an undermining of feminine entities. Yes? Does that make sense? So there is no balance. Forget about equal pay. This ain't an equal pay conversation. I'm talking about there's no balance in ourselves. There's no balance even in your masculine and feminine. Forget about man and woman for starters. Forget about, oh, this man versus this group of men versus that. Forget about that part. There's no balance in yourself. You're scared to go to peace. You're scared of your own darkness. You understand? You're scared to be silent. You're scared of your chaos. That is your feminine. You don't want to sleep. You don't want to remain in silence. You're offended by other people's creativity. That is your feminine. Do you understand? And this is what we're all being called. This isolation period. Remember I spoke about the cocoon? Remember I spoke about the cocoon of the butterfly? Yes? Well, that cocooning is the feminine. That is your feminine. That is you being called back to feminine. Right? The earth is feminine. Do you understand? You going into self and being concerned with that realm, the internal instead of the external, is you practicing your divine feminine. And Mikel is all. In fact, that's mostly what I'm about. But I'm very careful with associating myself with definitions that are in the custody of this wicked world. So you'll never hear me call myself a feminist. Even though on paper I'm a bigger feminist than most people who would call themselves that. Does that make sense? But I would never call myself a feminist, because that word is in the custody of people who are not for what I'm about, or don't even have the same level of understanding that I do. Do you understand? So yeah, and that word was invented. You know, it's very important the tongue you speak. This is why I encourage us, those of us who seek to exist in a different world, you have to learn another language. Start to speak and live your life in another language. You understand? Create your own language, or you know, go to your mother tongue so you can understand more. Because if you're tied to certain words, that are out there to describe yourself, you remain boxed in by the definition. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah? So I'm very intentional about the words I associate myself with. But the divine feminine, not must rise, is rising. Whether you like it or not. The divine feminine is the primordial soup from which we all come from. That's the soup that created your divine masculine, which is this physical vessel right now. Do you understand? Yes? But when we're talking about spiritual health, we are talking about how to connect that divine feminine principle to this divine masculine one that we have been manifested as. Yes, our light and day. Our night and day. Yeah? So absolutely, man. That's a beautiful question. Big up that question. Guys, if you have, I'm going to have to scroll back for some questions, because I want you guys to put it in the question box so I don't miss it. Yeah? So I don't miss it, family. I don't want to miss your questions. You lot still with me? Alright. How do we... Hold on, there was a question before that. Religion versus spirituality. I spoke about this before. Is Giggin still there? He's not even there for me to answer the question. But yeah, I spoke about this before. Religion versus spirituality. There is no versus. Religion is a result of spirituality, or at least it's supposed to be a result of spirituality. Religion is just a classroom of spirituality. Alright, let's define spirituality and define religion. Okay, this is a good one. So someone asked the question of religion versus spirituality. And we often say this: I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And people who, you know, it sounds cute to say that, but you know, we're kind of ignorant when we make statements like that. You know, if you are spiritual, you should be religious. If you are religious, you should be spiritual. They go hand in hand. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like, what can I say? What can I compare it to? Anyway, forget my wild analogies. Let's get to it. Religion and spirituality. First of all, spirituality. Spirituality. Spirit means breath. Spirit fingers. Alright? Your spirit is your breath. I say this all the time. Spirit, literally, by definition, spire. Spirit means breath. Okay? Yes? Now, spirit means breath. Breath is that which emits from you. As you know, you don't just breathe through hair or hair, right? oxygen flows throughout your entire body. So that breath, that spirit is describing, is your entire being. Okay? Yeah? Your breath is that which emits from you. That is your energy. So spirit and energy are one in the same, okay? Your spirituality then is your energetic operations, how you use your energy. Your spirituality is how you use your energy. Which energy, Mikel? Which energy are you talking about? The energy of love? The energy of anger? The energy of sex? The energy of thrill, joy, despair, fear? Is fear my spirituality? Yes. How you deal with fear is part of your spirituality as well. How about lust? When I go into lust, is that a part of my spirituality? Yes. How you deal with the energy of lust is a part of your spirituality. Yes? You feel what I'm saying? Because spirituality is just your energetic operations. You understand? Your energetic operations. How you use energy that comes in and out and around you. How you relate with it. How you are conscious of it. Yes? Which ones you participate. Which ones you don't participate. Which ones you shift and use and all of that. That is your spirituality. Okay? The goal of man is to be able to use his consciousness in relationship to his in relation to his energy, to move his energy in alignment with his highest intentions. And that is where Jaden's impatience comes in. I'm joking. Yeah? Because religion is about realigning yourself with that goal of your energetic operations. So we're just out here operating with energy. Oh, I want that. Wow, I want that. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I don't like you. Yeah, got on my nerves. Oh, maybe I shouldn't punch people in the face. Oh, I'm sorry. Love. Do you get what I'm saying? Once you have identified your highest intentions, spiritual goal, yes, you start to now use all your energy to start aligning with certain things. So now someone, back in the day used to punch people in their face when they used to chat rubbish. Back in the day, you used to smash any girl that was on this thing. You know what I'm saying? You used to eat any food that looked good. But now you've started to understand that your energy requires certain behavioral patterns in order for you to remain on a particular path that you've seen is very important for you. Yes? So you've now said that, oh, I can't eat before 12. Because if I do, it distorts me. Oh, I can't wake up. I can't start work until 9. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. because I need that 3 hours before I start work. Oh, I need to drink water first before I go into my breakfast because it cleans out my stomach. Oh, let me open the windows because my house gets this fresh air. Oh, I actually feel much better for greeting people on the street. I've noticed I've made a lot more friends by greeting people and I just feel better about it. Oh, I just want to help people because I realized when I got helped, how it made me feel. Let me do that for others. Wow, I just feel a certain sense of abundance. It's called your religion. Your conscious awareness of what you need to constantly be aligned with. You understand? Religion. Yes? Of course. But all of these religions, family, i.e. Christianity, big up Jaden, i.e. Christianity, Islam, Sikh, whatever, all these other religions, right? Judaism, this is where all of these things started. Someone came along, yeah? Christ, for example, came along. Yeshua was walking, and guys were living life. And he's like, yo, rude boy, listen, yeah? An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But, you know, he who without sin should cast the first stone. You know, focus before you point out a piece of splinter in another man's eye. Focus on the plank of wood in your own. Jesus, Yeshua, is there to help you understand your energetic operations. Right? And then you make a religion out of his teachings. Why? Because he is the greatest example. Yes, he's the greatest example of an energy operation that allows you to connect with a higher experience of that universal principle we call God, Mungu, Allah, Tik, Olodumare, Yahweh, the All, la da 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 da. You lot feel what I'm saying? This is why Yeshua, real or not, fake, fable or truth, man or God, doesn't matter. This is why Yeshua the Christ, yes, who you call Jesus, why he will remain the most important figure until someone else steps in that space, his return. Yes? That's another story. But does that make sense? Why? Because even on paper, he remains the greatest principle and example for human elevation. Yes? So people make a religion out of him. Muhammad is the same. Buddha, the same. People make religions out of the way someone... Come on, guys, talk to me. People make religions out of the way someone lived their life. Do you understand? People make religions out of the way someone lived their life. Well, what did I just explain to you? The way someone lives their life is their energetic operation. Yes? They have seen, right? They have seen that after a while, this is what maturity does for you. They have seen that I can't keep doing these things because I want to be aligned in this way. So I have to make sure that I'm constantly aligning myself in ways that complement the path that I wish to walk. So it means reading the Bible every day, or it means going for long walks in the park, or it means doing Cheza Rojo, or it means, submitting myself to silence every night. It means fasting. It means praying. It means keeping good counsel. It means, sharing whatever it means for you. But what religion has lost, and why many people are running away from religion today, religion, instead of being a hub of inspiration to walk the path of a Christ, which is what you are supposed to become. Yes, you're not supposed to be a sorry. Yo, you're not supposed to. I got a very bad mouth, yeah? But you're not supposed to be a yeah. Just deal with that real quick. So guys, again, a part of my own personal energy operations, I'm being more conscious of the language that I use, because as much as I love shooting off at the mouth, I don't want to, I want you to watch this with your children. I want to share this with young teens. I want this to go into spaces where youth are present. I want to set a greater example. And I'm a better wordsmith than having to cuss. You understand? So, anyway, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to, fam. Christ is an example who has been said to say, you will do greater works than I. So how are you still here waiting for man to come? If you're waiting for him to come, it's like Mr. Miyagi teaching you wax on, wax off for like 20 months, and then you broke a wood with your hand, and then the fight comes, and you sitting, yo, Mr. Miyagi, come fly kick this man in his face. Mr. Miyagi's looking at you like, rude boy, man didn't teach you how to flipping wax off, wax on already, rude boy. Why you calling me into your battles, rude boy? You understand? I'm Mr. Miyagi, I got grey hairs, I'm old, fam. You know what I'm saying? I want to sit by my bonsai tree. You calling me out, rude boy. That's not what I'm here for, my G. That's why I'm training you. You gonna tell me my man lived 2,000 years ago, and you want to wait for him to come and do your work? No, you are here to prove to the very same God that Christ was serving in himself. You're here to prove to that God that you can be the same. Do you understand? And so what I was saying before I digressed, yes, into vulgarity, yes, but what I was saying, family, is that what religions have turned into is, because religion has been gobbled up by this same system that we spoke about, this system that constantly pushes the masculine, the external, the physiological, the animalistic, the emotional, the lower levels of reality. This system constantly pushes that. That's what it pushes on you. And so you trying to live in this system and figure Jesus out. This is why Jesus will always look like Superman to everyone. Jesus looked like Superman. But when you realize that man was not operating on your level of ignorance, you've got to be able to go through a process of removing yourself from this system, so you can begin to understand what my man was really on and what really was talking about. And unfortunately, the comfort of your church, unfortunately, doesn't do that. Because the word is supposed to be lived, not read. I am the word, not here's the word. Here's the word, guys. And on chapter 7, it says, rah, rah, rah. And there's got to be a certain time where you put down that book. You know, I tell this to my Christian friends all the time, who tell me, Mikel, why don't you always speak from the Bible since you like it? I said, if I'm relying, if the Bible is the irrevocable word of God, if the Bible is the absolute truth of God, then I must be able to experience every principle and moral direction the Bible is trying to teach me outside of the Bible. Do you understand that? If I write, hold your breath and you will die on a piece of paper, you should be able to close that piece of paper and go like this. I'd be like, yo, that guy was right. Do you understand? You should be able to do that. But people will say, oh, Mikel, you should be able to have faith in what was written by man. And instead of holding your breath and nearly dying, you should have just read it and understood it. Well, no, that's not what happens, family. You never learned like that. That is not how people learn. And I'm glad you said that. Because guess what? To truly inculcate wisdom in yourself and others, you must go through a series of physical, kinetic experiences that puts distress on your being, so that by overcoming it, it becomes a muscle, intellectual, metaphysical memory that can never, ever be forgotten. This is why in Africa, initiation is so important. You don't just rock up on a girl and have sex and talk about you want to give her a ring and get married. No, you're going through initiation. You need to prove that you're a man first. Go and do this. Look after that cow. Come home with your goats. Go and wash that. Show me this. Come, you're being circumcised. Right, now you boys go out and do this. La 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 la. Rare. Show me. Oh, you want a girl? How much cows you got? Oh, you ain't got no cows? Where's your uncles? Your uncles? Yeah, you men, you are my daughter? Okay, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 cows. Cool. Bam. Now you deserve to go and have sex with my daughter and marry her. Do you understand that? Because you have gone through a series of physical, yes, bouts to put yourself in a position to own that wisdom. Do you understand? So just talking the word ain't enough. Of course not here in the US and not here in the UK. Not, to be honest, not anywhere. But I'm trying to say to you what the actual issue is right now, family. Why we can read the word. We can read Psalms of David. Yes? We can read surahs from the Quran. Yes? We can read the peaceful Zen words of Buddha. We can even, derive inspiration from Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. Ra! We can hear it and go, do you know what? That's so true. Do or do not. There's no try. Wow. Life changed. Tomorrow, oh yeah, I'm just trying to, work it out. You get me, caught. We need to understand that in order to fall in line with our spiritual ambitions, family, we need to go through physical, emotional disciplines. You with me? We need to go through physical and emotional disciplines because there are levels to your spirit. You lot follow me? I want you lot to get this book if you can. This is called the 11 Laws of God. Look it up on the internet. The 11 Laws of God. Yeah? And it talks about the various levels. Hold on, did I put it in this camera? It talks about the various levels to your spirit. Yeah? That there are degrees of like often we see the body as separate from our spirit when the body is just a final result of our spirit. You understand? Kind of like looking at your spirit as the education system. Yes? You could say there's nursery, preschool, not sure which comes first, reception, primary school, secondary school, or high school. High school, if you're in America, you got your high school out there. High school, college, we're going to college, yeah? And then university. You lot following me? Well, your spirit has the same degrees. So what I was saying, fam, your life, your spiritual journey is the same as the education, how the educational system is structured. It's just unfortunate that the education system doesn't match with our spiritual journey, because that's actually what it's supposed to do. We're supposed to have institutions that help us at these various stages of our spiritual growth. And it's set up like that, but it no longer serves as that function. Well, definitely not for natural people. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's more now just a system of, turning you into a compliant little git. Yeah? But just like there is variant levels to the education system, there is variant levels to your spiritual journey. Okay? I've read the laws of Ma'at, and in your estimation, do you think the 10 commandments were taken from the laws of Ma'at? This isn't the laws of Ma'at. This book is not the laws of Ma'at. This is called the 11 laws of God, and Ma'at is one of those laws. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the 44 affirmations. And to be honest, I don't even care if they was taken, where they was taken from. This is life. Like, shit gets stolen every day. You get what I'm saying? Life is always gonna be, people are always gonna copy. You know, this is, you know, another thing, not to digress, but you know, a lot of black people always complain about Europeans copying them. But it's like, well, if you know that that's what they do, give them something to copy that complements you. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's, you can't stop someone from copying you. You're an inspiration. And you will always be an inspiration. So act like one. You know? And let it work to your benefit. Yeah? So, yes. But obviously it is known, these Abrahamic religions and the ancient Kemet came years, centuries, millenniums before Abrahamic religions ever came about. So of course they are borrowing from those societies. You know, even the word amen is coming directly from Kemet spirituality, and their understanding that the highest form of the spirit is called amen, which means peace. Yes, which is the all. Yes. So yeah, it all works, mate. So my only concern is, like, are you getting it? You know what I'm saying? I don't look, this is genuine. I don't care if you're a Christian, Muslim, atheist, agnostic, Buddhist, Sikh, Judaist, Moorish, rah, rare-te-te. I don't care. Are you getting it? It's just a classroom. Oh, I went to Cambridge. Oh, I went to Oxford. Oh, I went to Yale. Oh, I went to la. Shut up. Did you get it? 1 + 1. Can't answer me. You went there for no reason. Do you get what I'm saying? This is like, did you get it? It doesn't matter what university you're sitting in. It doesn't matter what religion you're sitting in. It's another thing I'll say to you. It doesn't matter what religious classroom you're sitting in. Are you getting the point of life? Are you getting the point of life? Yes, you can be a 100% devout Sunni Muslim. Yes? And still get it. You can be a 100% Methodist Christian and still get it. But are you getting it? Some of us cannot sit in those classrooms. Myself. You understand? Some of us are here, like me and the community that I come from, are here to help and push those systems forward. To give better clarity. I'm not here to remove anyone from their religion. Some people, if they didn't have religion, they would be, missing out here in these streets. So let them have their religion. Don't be out here trying to force people, oh, you know Jesus weren't white, you know. Of course not, duh. But if, let them do what they're doing. Me, that's why I let people ask me questions. If you ask me a question, you're going to get my opinion. You're going to get my view. You're going to get the way I live my life. And you will get my objective truth. But at the end of the day, as you will, you're going to do what you need to do. Because you need to go on your own journey. I'm just here to be a character on your journey. Like blip, 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 blip. Heaven is your right. Blip, blip. Heaven is your responsibility. Blip, 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 blip. And you carry on your journey, on your way to church probably. And you go, Mum, there was a strange man that kept repeating, heaven is your right. Heaven is your responsibility. And you're going to be sitting there in church or as you're praying. Yeah? In the mosque. And all you're going to see is my voice. Blip, 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 blip. Heaven is your right. Heaven is your responsibility. And you ain't going to get out of your head. You know what I'm saying? You still call yourself a Christian. You still a Muslim. You still an atheist. You still whatever you say you want to be. Whatever. And there's this me. Blip, blip. Heaven is your right. Heaven is your responsibility. Blip, blip. And you can't get it out. And so, I'm like that guy in the Matrix. It's like, the pastor's telling you, yes, Jesus is coming to usher the kingdom of heaven. And all you hear is my voice. Blip, blip. Heaven is your right. No one's coming to save you. And then I give you facts. Both religious, spiritual, scientific facts to prove that that is not happening. Your salvation is in the custody of your life. You understand? So that's it. In fact, I'm more happy, I'm more enthusiastic about you continuing to call yourself a Christian with that in your head. I want people to remain in their religions, because that is how we're going to change the world. See, too often, watch this, and to all my religious people out there, right? Please understand this. Too often, we want people to be converted to us. Oh, I want this white person to come and understand me as a black. No, you are you, boy. Or I want this tribe over here to... yes, we're supposed to be educated and understand, but no one's supposed to live your life. You ain't here to... I'm not here to be a Muslim in that way. I'm not here to be a Christian in that way. Man ain't here to be, you know, whoever. I'm not here to... You are here to be you. And the more we can, you know, be committed to who we are, whilst developing an understanding of where we connect with others, whilst not forcing them to be us. Oh, take that hijab off. That's against your freedom. You know you're a woman. You should expose what God gave you. Look, I'm a Christian and I wear booty shorts. Come on. Do you get what I'm saying? Why? Or as a Muslim, oh, you shouldn't be exposing your body. Cover your body. That should be for Hiratate. Not everyone's supposed to live like you. Not everyone's supposed to act like you. Not everyone's supposed to have your energetic operations. Why do you want a world like that? I don't want a world that looks like me. Look, the moment everyone starts dressing like me, you'll see me not dressing like that. It's just how I function. I detest being the same. Do you get what I'm saying? It's cute for a little bit. After a while, I'm like, I need my color back. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah? So, it's about knowing who you are, understanding, based on your highest intentions, what energetic operations you need. Yes? That might be, that might be a mixture of things. You might concoct your own. And I am more for people developing their own personal religions. Because God is universal. Allah is universal. Mungu, universal. Inkai, whatever you want to call the divine principle, yes, is universal. Develop your own relationship. Develop your own religion. That means you will remain accountable to it, because you won't keep blaming your pastor. It will be a constant accusing spirit that tells you you're doing wrong. Tells you need to get it right. Tell you need to get back on track. Respect others. That's it. You know, and humble yourself to growing. Hold on. Sorry, I took too long. If there's only one God, what do you think it means when we hear about God, the plural saying? Okay. Okay, I've got 7 minutes, so I'm going to try to answer this question. That's a sick question, man. Talking about, when it's mentioned gods, yes? You got to understand. Remember, I spoke about there's layers, there's levels to the spirit that you have. Okay? There's layers to your spiritual journey. So we spoke about Amen being the highest principle of God, that unified, undifferentiated state of peace. Yes? No emotion, no nothing. That is what we are calling upon for the most part when we are praying to God. That higher level of undifferentiated, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipotent, all of that. That's what that is. Amen. That's why everyone, amen, amen. That's where it's coming from. Okay? Peace. When they speak of gods, we're talking about the other energies that are related to that same spirit. Okay? Gods, when we look at, this is why, like, someone the other day said, oh, this person, the Africans worship many gods and stuff. It's really Eurocentric perversion of our understanding of spirituality. When we're dealing with gods, we're talking about energies. Alright? Understanding energies. How can I help you? This is why a lot of us don't understand when we hear, when God creates a plague. And we think, but God loves everyone. God is peace, but he creates a plague for that person. You get what I'm saying? Or God came and spoke to this person. Yes? But if God spoke to that person, then where else? How can God... You understand? We get frustrated, right? Because if God is peace, how is God burning down? Because we're talking about energies. All energies represent God. This is what I said in another live, that all the energies you feel are not bad. They're just ill-used, misappropriated. That's all they are. All the energies that come to you. Even fear is just misused. Fear, that thing that you get when you feel that fear around here in your solar plexus, that is a signal for something very powerful if you learn how to use that energy. Does that make sense? Anger. What you feel when you get anger, something rouses you up. Yes? That energy, okay, can be used for something hugely divine, like very divine. Okay? And the study of these separate energies, yes, is what people call deities. Or Eurocentric people call gods. This is how they got the names. In Yoruba, they call them orishas. Okay? But what they are is energetic representations of God. You understand? The different moving parts of God. Whew. If God is this unified state called peace, yes, that spark that goes joy or excitement and anger, yes, fear, lust, yes, intellect, la la la. All of these sparks become the various aspects, attributes, characteristics of the divine Amen. Mungu, Allah, Ti, Yahweh, Olodu, Mare, eh. You understand? Does that make sense? So that's why, and then we walk into people's countries and go, oh, they're worshipping many gods here. Most people think Egypt was a place of many gods. It was actually the first place of monotheism. How's that? For something in your trunk. Yes? But the understanding that these heads of animals were to represent particular energies, particular wisdoms. Oh, they're worshipping cats and birds and hippos. No, they're not. They understand the energies those animals represent. Therefore, enable themselves to become students of that energy, therefore being able to master it for their alignment with the Most High Creator. Are down. Thank you for tuning in. If you want one-on-one spiritual health coaching so I can help you develop a spiritual health program for your highest intentions in your life, please DM me. You can hear this podcast back in the next 24 hours on my live. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace in, love out.